Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $2.44 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off by 2.6. We see 67,200 plus for Bitcoin, 2,600 plus for Ethereum, 119 billion plus market cap for Tether, USDC 34 billion plus, XRP 53 cents at the number 7 spot. We're off 3.5 on the 24-hour and off 0.8 in the 7 days. So you can see in the last 24, we've had a pullback. Range of price between 53 and 55 cents. We're sitting towards the lower side of that range. We'll keep an eye on it. Let me show you how incredible this community is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Baron of Beach Street right here. Shout out to Sean. Sean is amazing. He's also an OG DPMG member. And let me tell you something. This really kind of exemplifies this XRP community. The official legend is what he is of the Digital Asset Investor channel. This is what he's done here. He has created a merch store, so some of the proceeds, a portion of all sales, will be donated to Deaton for Senate until the election. This is absolutely cool. You can get your own beer koozie below. You can see it right here. I'm going to have the link on my Twitter. It's right here, and I'm going to actually put it underneath the next couple of videos too, so you can get a hold of the link before the election and help donate and support the cause. Sean, shout out to you, man. I mean, this is the kind of cool stuff that we see in the XRP community and almost nowhere else, right? So I really, really think this is super amazing. And Sean, really cool of you to do this. And I know John will appreciate it very much. Now let's start right here. I want to level set. We have a lot to look at today. Let's start here. Donald Trump.
This afternoon, I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world. If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. It's going to be. It's not going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way. And that's what's going to happen.
Well, there you have it. So you know where he stands. It's pretty clear, right? But now take a look at this. This is pretty fun here from Eleanor Tarrant. She says, I think I've only seen Mark Cuban and Elon Musk agree on two topics: their hatred for the SEC and voting for John Deaton. Here we get it from Mark Cuban and obviously support from Elon Musk. This is super huge. Let's keep moving here. This is going to matter because, you know, as these elections are approaching, we have to understand this new digital economy is going to forge ahead with digital identity in the United States. And here's where it gets super tricky for all of us. Because regardless of all of us understanding the power of this innovation and technology and how it's changing the world and will continue to do so, we need to not lose sight of the fact that digital ID will be probably, required in order to participate in this digital economy. And I would expect it to be. Now, with that being said, it's what they do with this digital ID that you may have to have. In other words, like, for instance, you can get paid on X. And in order to get paid on X, you have to KYC yourself, right? And I see this becoming the trend to participate on the internet in general, right? And in order to receive money and all of this and assets in the future, be it a stable coin or some other crypto, the reality is that you're going to have a digital ID. What we need to be sure of is that digital ID doesn't get connected to a social credit score, and that we don't see Federal Reserve or the U.S. Treasury directly issue money to its citizens in a manner that they can turn it off. And if we have a private issuer in between the money and the government and or the Federal Reserve, which is not a government branch, let's understand that we need to have some real things in place that government cannot, or the Fed could not weaponize that private issuer or platform the way we've seen the government weaponize mainstream media and social media platforms. And that's not a guess. Zuckerberg testified. It's exactly what happened. Meanwhile, political donations made by the U.S. crypto industry have surged to a record high after surpassing $190 million as the final stretch of the election cycle approaches. $190 million. And this is why we're going to get legislation, albeit either in the lame duck session this year or sometime by next year, it looks like. Because when you donate this much money, you get to a place where you realize it really is a pay to play. Speaking of it, in the month of September, Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen gave 3 separate donations totaling nearly $10 million to the Future Forward, the super PAC supporting Kamala Harris. The donations were in cash and made in addition to the $1 million XRP he donated to the PAC in August. And I say to you, whatever it takes, let's just get it done, right? Look. Listen to this really quickly here.
Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen has now donated more than $11.7 million to 2 PACs supporting the VP's campaign, making Larsen one of the crypto industry's largest individual donors this cycle.
Now, I'm a firm believer that our vote is never really counted, but I've always registered to vote, and I've always voted, because it gives me the right to complain, even though I know our system personally, as far as I'm concerned, is completely hijacked, and the billionaires of the world decide who we're going to have, and they do it in a way that they try to make us feel like we had a voice. Now, that's very cynical. That's what I believe. I'm not expecting you to believe it, but I do vote regardless of what I believe so I can complain about it, right? So, with that being said, all I say is this. I believe that whatever's going to be is going to be, but I do believe that there are many different issues that are in front of this nation right now. However, as someone who is pursuing it as a single issue voter, it is crypto clarity that I'm after. And I'm doing and the reason that is over all the other things that I could sit here and laundry list, and I'm not going to. But what I could say is that for me, it's this issue that's at the top of the list, because it is my job to make my family as wealthy and as comfortable as I possibly can. And then to make sure that someone in my family is taught how to do the same for generations to come, and so on and so on and so on. See, I'm after creating generational wealth for my family. I'm not just after just getting rich for a minute. So, but that's okay if someone else is, or they just want to pay off cars and a house and be done. Everyone has different goals, and they're not wrong. But today, we know that Chris has been a Democrat, long life Democrat, liberal for a long time. So this is not unexpected. However, Chris goes on to say here, he said, it's time for the Democrats to have a new approach to tech innovation, including crypto. I believe Kamala Harris will ensure that American technology dominates the world, which is why I'm donating $10 million in XRP in support of her. And then Brad Garlinghouse comes in and says, I respect Chris's and everyone's right to support whomever they think is the best to lead the U.S. And so do I, by the way. We need to immediately change course from this administration's misguided war on crypto. Ripple will continue to engage with both Democrats and Republicans in the final days of the election. So, and it has it right here. I think it was. Yeah, right here. So, it says we'll engage with, after in the final days of the campaigns and after the election, to promote pro-crypto policies. It's not about party lines. It's about championing policies that drive blockchain and crypto innovation. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right there. Now, again, there's a lot of other issues I think are in front of this country, but the first and foremost is getting the U.S. government out of the way of my pursuits and endeavors as an American patriot. And there he is making the statement there about the support that Chris has given. So here we know another comment. We saw this yesterday. I played this where Elon Musk was asked about the XRP ledger being incorporated into the financial system. Brad commented on it and said, voters care about crypto. They care about XRP. It's not a niche issue. He says they want real policies that drive innovation and create jobs. Candidates that ignore crypto and blockchain risk a serious loss in support from a growing informed voter base. This is exactly spot on for me. And look what we're at now. I mean, we got, let's just see here where we're at here. So take a look at this. We have what? 9 days left in this month. So 14 days. We are 2 weeks from the election. And my thing is I'm concerned that Kamala has not been vocal enough to say that she's going to do the right thing for crypto innovation. But I hope whoever gets in does. I can tell you that. And meanwhile, take a look at this. The Federal Reserve official, Kashkari, says very few transactions happen on crypto unless it's drugs or illegal activity. Oh, really? Really? There are more illegal activities happening with U.S. dollars around the world every single day than any other asset. And this guy has got nerve to say that. But maybe that's why Brad and Chris are going there today. Yes, it's today. Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen are set to appear at the 8th Annual FinTech Conference hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. See, I don't find this mutually exclusive to what we understand is taking place around the world right now. Whether it's the BRICS summit that's happening starting today, at the same time that Brad and Chris are speaking at the Fed in Philly. At the same time, we have a record history level of money donated to crypto legislation. Is this all different events at your house, or is all of this linked? I need to know. For me, all of these things are connected. They really are. Just like this. Remember Ryan Selkis was in an interview with a guy from R3 and asking about Ripple and XRP? Listen to this little collage of how many people avoid talking about XRP.
As a company? I know that there was, some extracurricular, activity that was working its way through the courts, but and it's since been resolved. But I'm curious if there's ongoing discussions, since one of their primary focus is on the interbank settlement component that you're also touching.
So, frankly, Ripple is probably the only topic I can't talk about. I just don't talk about it. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it.
And the genesis for this call, really,
yeah.
You're
look at the R3 mug.
At least.
Keep watching.
Will you do another ETF? How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right, they're giving me the rap. Thank you.
Given how punitive
And we know about that one right there too,
the
right?
SEC has been towards crypto under this administration, do you envision the XRP ledger being incorporated into the financial institutions in the future?
Well,
Well, that's a hell of a look on him right there, ain't it?
I certainly cannot speak to any specific crypto, but I do think that the sort of cryptocurrency is an interesting and probably valuable bulwark against a centralized control. This is definitely not an endorsement or lack of endorsement for XRP, but I do think crypto, by its very nature, it helps with individual freedom.
There you have it. No doubt about it. So when I see all of this, and look, when we understand XRP and the XRP ledger's role is to serve as a complement into the system, right? It can help ease the stress on the dollar. And hopefully Brad and Chris are able to convey that message along with cross-border messages while they speak at the Fed today and tomorrow. you know, this is why I think when we see the BRICS doing their summit and coming together, announcing they've built a new system, one of the main targets about this summit with BRICS is, in fact, to talk about the new payment system that they've done, to talk about the bigger agenda of moving away and de-dollarizing the U.S. dollar. And then there's this, Russia to launch new cryptocurrency mining data centers across member nations. So now they're going to rush to mine. Now this goes back to where I opened up the clip, where Donald Trump said if he's going to do it, they want to be a leader here in the U.S., be the leader of Bitcoin and crypto. Well, now you've got pressure because Russia and BRICS members are going to launch mining data centers across their member nations. So the U.S. better do something, right? And here we know Russia sold nearly 78% of oil exports to its BRICS counterparts, China and India, between 22 to 23. The majority of oil deals were settled in local currencies and not the U.S. dollar between the three nations. Okay? They're getting stronger. The longer we do nothing, they're getting stronger. One of the biggest things to watch this week with the summit is Turkey. The country has formally asked to join BRICS. Here's the hang-up. If they're accepted, they would be the first NATO country to join BRICS. Now, what do you make of that? Boy, does that start to get a little sticky. Then there's this. Ripple partner NEOM has announced that financial institutions can now leverage SWIFT capabilities. We covered it yesterday, but you need to hear her say it today. Take a listen.
You know, as you can imagine today, a lot of it is API driven, a lot of connection and software capabilities moving towards that. But we've actually, in collaboration with SWIFT, which is a trusted messaging service by nearly any global banking institution around the world, to create a way where customers of ours, FI customers, can send transactions via the existing SWIFT connection they have today, directed to NEOM.
And the reason I'm showing you that is not only because it's a Ripple partner NEOM and they're connected to SWIFT, but I'm showing it to you because Brad and Chris are speaking at the Federal Reserve today. And the BRICS summit's happening right now. They may have a NATO country join them for the first time ever. And they have a new payment system. Where did Russia start to de-dollarize? When the sanctions kicked in from the Russian-Ukraine conflict. It hurt the dollar more than it hurt the ruble. And as in fact, we reported at the time when it happened, the ruble has become stronger since the SWIFT sanctions and the Russian-Ukraine conflict, and the dollar has become weaker. You can thank the current administration for that brilliant little move. Speaking of brilliant little moves, we're going to talk about what it takes to get Americans back on track. You're going to want to see this. We're going into the Freedom Zone. You can join us there, digitalperspectives.com. Join the Freedom Zone for next to nothing. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Come on in. All right, welcome back, everyone.